Hello everybody. I'm making this video specifically for my students at Northeastern, for which they just had a quiz earlier tonight, the last quiz, and I just couldn't wait to show you guys how you get the right answer, since as the last count, I think only 4 or maybe 5 people got the answer right. But anyways, let me just show you how this is done, and it's really a simple problem, as you've seen it in the probably in the homework problems too, something similar to this. So the objective here is to find the reaction at C. So the reaction at C is right here, and that's what we're trying to find. Okay, so you know that we can make this beam into 2 cantilever beams, one with just this uniform load which is covering half of the beam, right? Half the length. Now notice that actually the total length of the beam is 2L, so you have to be careful with that. So if we go ahead and find the deflection of this guy, so how would this deflect, by the way? This would deflect as a curve up to point P, and then it remains a linear like that. So we want to find deflection here, so let's call this beam number 1, and this would be deflection at C for beam number 1. And then the next one is due to, the other beam is due to this R sub C, right? And this guy obviously would deflect up like that, and you want to find now Y sub C2, and then clearly the way we're going to come up with the reaction eventually is the total deflection must be 0. So this is a negative deflection going down, and this is a positive deflection. By the way, this is Y here. Remember, the book uses the notation for the deflection as V, and lowercase v. In any case, and be careful again, this is the length of 2L here, right? So let me start with the simple case here. You guys, if you look at the chart, this is probably the first item, the first row. For a cantilever beam, the deflection for a concentrated load at the end of the beam is determined by this equation, PL cube over 3EI. But be careful, guys, now. This one is pointing up, so it's a positive deflection, but P is R sub C, but the length is 2L. I think this is where probably most people made their mistakes, if I'm not wrong. I haven't graded the quiz yet. So this becomes, as you could see, this is cube, by the way. It's late at night. It's 10:15 right now. So 8RCL cube over 3EI. Okay, so this one was easy, with the exception that you had to be careful with the 2L. Now this one is a little bit more to it. So if I go find this slope here, right? This is slope, which I call it theta at B. If you look at the chart, actually, for a beam with a uniform load acting on the entire length of the beam, which is in this case L, which is basically the case that we have right here, and this is point B now, the slope at B actually is WL cube over 6EI, and the deflection at B is WL to the power 4 over 8EI. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I already know that the deflection here, let me erase this piece here. Oops, really messed it up. Anyways, let's try to redo this. Okay, so the deflection here, right here, is going to be basically this guy, the WL to the power 4 over 8EI. And since I know the slope here, I know this is slope, this is theta B, right? Then I can find this distance. And I know already this one is the WL to the power 4 8EI. Again, let me just erase this guy here. So this one is the WL to the power 4 over 8EI. And what happens to this one? This one is just simply L times theta B, but theta B is WL cube over 6EI. So this becomes WL to the power 4 over 6EI. So add the two, right? Add these two, right? WL to the power 4 over 8EI, right? Plus WL to the power 4 over 6EI. Common denominator is 24, right? So we end up getting 3 and a 4, 7 WL to the power 4 over 24 EI. Okay? And this is what? The deflection due to this uniform load right here. Alright, so, and this is of course negative, by the way, because it's going down. So now set them equal to one another, or add them up and say it equal to 0. So 8RC L cube over 3EI. By the way, you can just replace this guy by L too. Is equal to 7WL to the power 4 over 24 EI. Of course, EI is going to get cancelled. 3 goes to 24 8 times. Solve for R sub C. It becomes eventually 7 over 64 WL. Here we go. The mystery is solved. And as I said, I couldn't wait to show you this problem. We'll go over it again on Monday anyways. For those of you who I don't see on Monday, if you're traveling early, have a nice Thanksgiving break. The rest of you I'll see on Monday. As I said, I will do I'll go over this problem, and I will just do a combined loading problem. All right, guys, have a good night. See you soon. Thank you, as always, for watching and listening.